What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is 13 things about the USA I just can't get used to. From Germany, so it's a German on American Life. We've done a couple of these recently, haven't we? I don't know if you've seen them all because we're kind of pre-recording.
Yeah, depends on you've seen them.
Yeah, we're not sure what order these are going out.
This might be the first one you see.
Yeah, it might be the first one you see, but there's a couple of like culture shock kind of videos. Hopefully you're all enjoying them. If you're not, hopefully you're looking forward to them. Smash that button, guys. Smash that subscribe button as well. You absolute legends. Would really appreciate it. And yeah, let's see if these are new and let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
What we got?
I've been living in the US for 5 years now,
Ooh,
but there are still
years.
things about living here that I just can't get used to, no matter how hard I try.
Well, there we go. The video we did earlier was 6 months. So maybe we'll upload that one first, and then this is like a longer experience.
I have a funny feeling from the list, this is one of the last videos.
Yeah, I think so. So we definitely will get the other one out
first, I'm sure.
Because that was 6 months long. This is 5 years.
Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016. Okay. Since August 13th, 2016 to be precise, which means that this year marks my 5-year anniversary of living in the US, and for that occasion I thought it's time to reflect on a few things. So I made a list of things about the US that I really can't live without anymore at this point, which I released about 3 weeks ago on the actual anniversary on August 13th. Check it out here if you haven't seen it yet. And I also made a list of things about living here that even after all this time, I just can't get used to. And that's what I'll talk about today. So in a way, this is the more critical, whiny, first world problems complaining counterpart to the other video. Let's jump into the list of things about living in the US that I have a hard time getting used to. Number 1 is something that's been bothering me literally since day one, and it has to do with showers. I've mentioned this before in my video on housing differences, but in Germany, a shower usually looks like this or this. The shower head usually has a hose attached, and you can either put it into a fixture and just stand underneath, or you can also grab it and move it around. So in Germany, we use so-called handheld shower heads usually. In the US, however, the standard that you'll find at most houses, rental places, and hotels is this. A fixed shower head where the pipes are built into the wall.
I was thinking that. She's right though. I think
hands up to the UK.
Yeah, we got both. I think most of the time in the UK is
like if you go to a hotel. If you go to a hotel or something like that, it is. And I think so I want to say council house, rented houses.
I think in a lot of houses, just in a lot of houses.
Yeah.
Growing up, I think in a lot of houses it's like, but just the one which you can pull off. But
but I feel like nowadays people are getting their bathrooms redone.
People getting their bathrooms redone.
We have both.
We have both, and I think. Yeah, we have both. I think it's more common if it is just a shower, then it's more common to have a bulkhead like on the ceiling and then have a handheld one.
We use the bulkhead on the top.
Yeah.
But say if I'm washing my hair over the side, I'll use the handheld. Or if we're like when we clean the bath, obviously not spraying around the bathroom. If we clean the bath,
it is super helpful for cleaning the bath and just
it is. And for doing your hair over the side if you just want to do your hair quick.
Definitely. So that would be annoying not having that. This is going to be good. Because that's something we've never encountered before. No. So I'm going to enjoy this.
You can usually move the angle of the shower head a little bit, but that's about it. And my question is, why America? Do you know how hard it is to clean a shower when you can't move the shower head? A shower should be one of the easiest things to clean because it already has a drain and water in it. And yeah, in Germany with a handheld shower head, cleaning a shower is really easy because you can just flush things away. But not here. Which is why I've been wondering for 5 years, how do Americans clean their showers? And when you build a place yourself, why do you choose a fixed shower head over a handheld one?
Go with both.
I can't think of a single advantage. Handheld shower heads are also amazing for when you want to shower but don't want to get your hair wet, or for when you just want to shave your legs real quick, or when bathing a baby or child. Now, of course, I know that you can buy handheld shower heads in the US, but I personally can't remember seeing one in an actual bathroom throughout the whole time I've been here. The second point I've mentioned before in my video about 7 surprising everyday differences, and one of those surprising things for me was that people in the US don't use WhatsApp. I mean, it exists. Some people use it, but many Americans haven't even heard of it. And unlike in Germany, and frankly most other parts of the world, it's not the default for texting in the US. Instead, text messages are. SMS, which have basically been extinct in Germany for like 5 to 10 years at this point.
Thing.
Now,
yeah, I think that's the same in the UK though, isn't it? As like normal text.
I definitely know people
extinct.
that use normal text, but then if everyone's getting, like in the UK, everyone gets the mobile datas and things, don't they? So why would you not use that?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If you're on Wi-Fi, why would you not use that when it's free rather than wasting your credit?
But a lot of people have free text nowadays as well. So, but I guess if you haven't got
texting you.
I guess, yeah, maybe sort of text me.
We WhatsApp all the time.
Oh, yeah, we WhatsApp. I WhatsApp everything.
Either WhatsApp or Messenger.
But I do know people who send normal text messages, but I would say it is pretty much dead. Normal message. It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
Because it's the same thing, really. I get it's a good point about the Wi-Fi, though, because if it costs you to text, you're obviously going to go for the free Wi-Fi. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, and I guess maybe if there's bad reception, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. No, I am with you on that, though.
I'm not sponsored by WhatsApp, and of course there are also other messenger apps like Signal or Threema.
I've not heard of that.
I really do wish that this wasn't the case sometimes, because the features that you get with text messages simply aren't as good as the ones you get on WhatsApp. Now, most Americans have iPhones, so usually texting means using iMessage, which is when the message appears blue instead of green on an iPhone. That means that you basically are using a messenger service in a way, because the message will be sent through the internet and not through regular cellular service. But even that doesn't offer a lot of features. As someone who was used to having all one-on-one and group chats taking place on WhatsApp before I came here, I was really annoyed by how complicated group texts can be here, especially when one or several members of the group chat don't have an iPhone. When I first arrived here, a lot of my fellow students used another app, GroupMe, specifically for group chats because of this.
Wow.
In addition to that, the search function is pretty bad compared to WhatsApp, and so is the overview of photos and other media you've sent, the feature to save messages, and most importantly, voice messages. I know that not everyone uses that feature, but I personally use that a lot, especially with my friends in Germany. Kind of
I know people do
each other. You can send voice messages with iMessage, but the feature really sucks compared to WhatsApp. You can't move the cursor while listening. When you record, it'll just break off the recording if anything pops up on your phone or your screen goes black. Plus, on WhatsApp, you can now even listen to the voice message at different speeds. Now, before you guys start commenting...
I've never done a voice message. I've only ever listened to one in my life. But people at work were having a conversation the other day. Apparently 1.5 speed, optimal for voice chats, apparently. My mate does it all the time, and it's like 1.5, you can still understand it, get through quicker. Just a little tip.
You could do that on Messenger.
Can you?
Yeah.
Maybe it's an update now. This was 2019, you got to remember.
Yeah, true.
It was a while ago.
I know that WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, and there might be valid concerns about using it, but at the same time, I see Americans posting 100 pictures of their family dinner on social media every weekend without even thinking about privacy at all. So when Americans say that that's why they don't use it, I always find that argument a little weird. And yes, other countries have texting flat rates as well and use WhatsApp anyways. So all in all, even after 5 years of living here and after switching from Android to iPhone, pretty much just to make it easier for myself to text in the US, I still find it hard to get used to using text messages instead of a more convenient messenger service like WhatsApp. Point number 3 is the lack of a deposit system here. To this day, I cringe a little bit every time I throw a can or a bottle away instead of collecting it and returning it to the store. Even if I throw it into a recycling bin, it still kind of feels like a trash can. It also took a while for me to get used to...
I mean, this list is definitely
different,
very unique, which I like. I don't think we don't really do the deposit system over it. Is there a deposit system over it?
No, I think the UK's is just recycling bins.
Yeah, I thought it was recycling bins as well. Maybe in Germany there is more of a thing. But I'm not 100% sure about this one. But I like the idea that you can save stuff to recycle it, but I just thought it was recycling.
Yeah, I just thought recycling's recycling. It doesn't matter what you put it in.
Yeah, I thought that too, but maybe it's different in Germany.
Depends where it goes, doesn't it? Because
definitely.
The cans like this, which you should do here because obviously it saves space in the bin, but in Germany that's a big no-go because you need the barcode on the bottle or can to be legible when you return it to get your deposit back. For context, I should explain that in Germany, we have the Pfandsystem, a deposit system on certain glass bottles, plastic bottles, and drink cans, where you get 8 to 25 cents back when you return it to the store. So basically, every German household has some spot where they collect empty bottles and cans. Sometimes it can become a pretty big pile, and then you just take them to the store next time you go get groceries and put them in this returning machine, and you'll get money back for it.
That's pretty cool.
Some states in the US do have a deposit system.
So we're putting throwing them in these recycling bins that we have in town, and I'm not getting paid.
Yeah, we ain't getting paid. We need that system. We could get paid.
And they are like the one in town in Jersey, the one in towns have the different.
Yeah. So, but Jersey, book your ideas up. We want to get paid.
Too, but the incentive isn't quite as high to actually go and return things. Plus, I believe that in most cases you have to go to a recycling site to return them, rather than just going to any store. Here in Ohio, they don't have a deposit system at all, though. The city of Cincinnati at least offers a recycling service, which is good. So everyone has a landfill trash can and a recycling one here that get emptied once a week. And you just put all different kinds of recyclable materials into the recycling can together. Which is also kind of weird for me still, because in Germany, we usually separate our recyclables by material and put it into different bins, or for certain things we even have to bring it to recycling containers ourselves. So long story short, it's still weird for me to throw a plastic bottle, or even worse, a glass bottle, away instead of rinsing it out and collecting it somewhere. But I did actually kind of get used to crushing cans, because I now sometimes catch myself do it when I'm in Germany out of habit, which sucks because, as I said, you need the barcode to be working in order to get your money back. I know this is a total cliche point, but even... Just
a quick tip. Before we go into number 4, we need to go and get our dinner because it's in the oven, isn't it?
Yes.
So we'll see you guys later. But I just want to give a little tip. If you cushion your can, this is full. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
on the
downwards.
Floor, stand on it.
It's
if you've got a shoe,
you don't do that.
So much more space. It goes to like that big.
Yeah, you can make little patterns out of it too.
So much more space. So you put it on the floor, you boom, foot on it on the heel. So much easier. Obviously have your shoe on.
Pepsi.
And yeah, we're not sponsored by Pepsi. We'll see you legends soon. It'll be futures because we're going to go and have our dinner. We're pre-recording videos and hopefully enjoying it so far. Alright guys, we are back. We've just finished, I believe it was the deposits one, which we don't have in Jersey. I'm not sure if we have it in the UK, but I don't think we do.
No, I don't think so.
Obviously we've had the WhatsApp one. This video has been good. We'll just talk about it over dinner, won't we? Because it's different.
Yeah, it's not the same as everything else.
It's not the same as everything. A super long one, just a 23-minute video. So hopefully you guys are enjoying, because we have been pausing a lot.
Yeah.
But let's check out what number 4 is. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. What we got?
Even after 5 years of living in the US, I still can't really get used to the low quality of bread and dairy products.
Is it low quality?
I know this might sound a little snobbish, but I just really miss good bread that has an actual crust, and I miss good cheese, especially mozzarella. I still haven't found good mozzarella here. Even the ones in the deli section for like $10 taste like rubber, whereas real mozzarella is fluffy and airy. Same goes for yogurt and butter.
I feel like this could be controversial. I want to see your guys' opinions on this.
I think Americans are quite proud of their cheese.
Yeah, especially Wisconsin and stuff like that. This is going to be controversial, this one.
Yeah, but also, if she's moved there for 5 years, then she's probably lived in the same place.
Potentially, yeah. She may not have gone. Cincinnati, she's in.
See, that's why some of these type of videos, 13 things about the USA I can't get used to, could just be more state specific.
True, but she's in Ohio, which is near Wisconsin.
Yeah, but if she was in Wisconsin, she'd be getting slaughtered.
Let us know.
She wouldn't even. There would be no point in her even posting this video if she's in Wisconsin, because they'd be coming after her.
Yeah, I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Let us know.
Butter is hard to find here, and so is good creamy yogurt, and quark doesn't really exist here at all.
Never had that.
Yeah, this is a total first world problem. I'm aware of that, but this whole video really is. But it's still something that is hard to get used to for me. The next thing on my list of things about the US that I can't get used to, even after 5 years, is people overdoing it with air conditioning. Okay, that's partly a lie, because I actually have gotten used to it in a way. When I first came here, I got sick from the AC all the time. And for those of you who think that you can't get sick from AC, I'm gonna put a link to a recent podcast episode in the info box below where we talked about that. And I might also link an article down below. But back to the topic, I was just not used to it being so cold inside here everywhere that I was sick a lot in the beginning. And mind you, I arrived in the middle of August. So it was really hot in Cincinnati, but I always wore long pants and carried a sweatshirt with me wherever I went, because I knew that anytime I'd be inside somewhere, I would be freezing. And even though I still bring a cardigan with me in the summer, I can definitely tell that my body has gotten used to it a little. I'm just not as sensitive to the cold and the temperature differences anymore. I don't think I've gotten sick from AC in years at this point, which is awesome, but I still don't like it when I basically have to put on winter clothes inside because someone sets the AC to a freezing temperature. I know I
feel like that's a you problem.
No, I feel like you get used to it, but...
But I feel like having to wear winter clothes is a little bit of an exaggeration, surely.
It is, but the sickness thing I can kind of get, because I've always heard because obviously we don't have AC in the UK. When we go to foreign places like Spain or somewhere like that and it's really hot, I've always been told, do not put your AC on cold. Put it on like
because you've got to adapt. But I think the fact
not even adapting. Apparently, if you go to sleep with it on like 17, which is nice and cool, which you enjoy, there's a high chance you'll get a cold because it's too cold in there.
Yeah, but her going and sitting in a restaurant in a winter jacket she said she still does that now, takes a jacket. That's a bit...
No, I get that.
She's probably just a cold person.
No, I get that, and she's getting used to it. But the illness thing, I can kind of understand, because I've always been told not to set my air. And if you're going in and you're not used to it, it makes sense a little bit, the illness one. But I knew...
Ours was cold, no? From Gran Canaria?
It didn't work very well.
The first time.
Yeah, we set it to about 19. But everyone always tells me not to do it at 16, because if you do it overnight, you will get ill. That's what I've always been told. So I kind of relate that one a little bit. But I know what you mean. Carrying it around.
I don't know. That seems like a personal preference.
Definitely. Oh, it definitely is personal preference at all, but the illness one I can kind of get if you're not used to it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the cold bit.
Definitely.
Kind of mentioned this in the last video, but why not just set it to a normal room temperature? In the summer, that'll still be so much colder than the outside anyways. This doesn't only apply to people's homes, by the way, but also to stores and businesses. I'm often inside a store shivering in the summer. Another thing that I have a hard time getting used to in this regard is when people use their central air conditioning all year round, even during fall and spring, where the temperature is perfectly nice outside. At least here in Ohio.
You have like the constant temperature.
Open your windows, people. P.S. This really shows that I'm German, because Germans are known for being obsessed with lüften, airing out rooms.
Oh, okay.
I complained about this one in one of my very first videos, but even after 5 years, my opinion on this hasn't changed, and it's about American washers, or to be more precise, top-loading washing machines, which I found to be much more common here than front-loaders. In Germany, it's the other way around. Now, I've never bought my own washer in the US. I've always had one in my rented apartment, or a coin-operated shared one in the basement or something like that. So yes, I know that if you buy one yourself, you obviously have the choice. But most households I've been to, and all of the rentals I've lived in, had a top-loading washing machine, and in my opinion, they're just not nearly as good as the front loaders that I know from Germany. It might have to do with the differences in laundry detergents as well, but front loaders, in my experience, just get your clothes so much cleaner. Plus, in Germany, you can choose the actual...
Does it actually make a difference what way it goes in?
So basically, Americans aren't clean.
No.
Their clothes aren't as clean as ours.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think it matters which way it's spinning.
I think
it's still spinning.
Yeah, I think it spins the same.
It's got to be to do with what powder you're using.
Definitely.
Surely.
Yeah.
Surely the actual... No. Surely.
No, I'm with you on that.
I think it's got to be to do with that, because that's like saying when you like wash your dishes. If we're washing dishes the exact same way, but we both use... If you used like a really cheap washer, I think it's got to be... I
think the only difference between top loaders and front loaders, again, please correct us if we're wrong in the comments, but it's just personal preference whether you like getting down on your knees to put it in,
I
or if you like just bending over.
I prefer to lean over.
I think I'd prefer top loader as well, to be honest.
I don't like bending down.
But it does take up a lot of space, so that's the issue. Because you've got to be able to have an open top to be able to do it, whereas we can put it underneath, like in our kitchen, so you can easily access it.
Yeah, but I feel
that's
like...
the only disadvantage of the top loader.
The majority of American houses have separate little areas.
If you can do it, definitely.
It's about where it is, isn't it, I guess?
Definitely. If you can do it, I'd definitely go top loader.
I prefer top loader. I prefer to lean over.
Yeah.
Temperature that your clothes are going to be washed on in degrees, whereas in the US, washers usually just say hot, cold, or warm, and I believe that they just use the hot or cold tap water instead of bringing it to that exact temperature. And the spiral thing in the middle has damaged some of my clothes before too, so when it comes to washers, I'll always prefer the German ones. If a Miele front loader doesn't get it clean, nothing will. Another thing that I still can't get used to in the US is feeling unsafe at times. For one, this has to do with me living in a city rather than a suburb or rural area, and it also has to do with gun violence in this country. I've talked about my views on gun control before, and I'm not going to go into detail about that here, but it was a huge change for me, and frankly still is, that I always have to think about where I can and can't go in a city. Like whether I can go outside after dark, or whether I can safely walk home from a bar.
Not the gun part, but the unsafe part. I feel like that's... Maybe this was 2019,
yeah.
So I feel like definitely now, in the UK, you have to think about that.
Oh, 100%.
Not with guns, but maybe with knives and things. Like, I don't feel safe anywhere, so...
Yeah, you had the exact same thing when you went, but again, we're from Jersey, in England, which is super safe.
But I have that same feeling when we go
to
England.
Yeah, definitely.
But I feel like it's definitely... been brought over more maybe now the last
I think
few
so.
years.
Obviously the UK is more knife and stuff like that. I can understand why potentially somebody is very paranoid about guns and stuff like that. They could be fear, even though they may not see them and stuff like that, they could potentially be that mental thing of being feeling unsafe because of it.
You never know what anyone's got, do you?
No, very true, very true. But I can see that one.
The general feeling unsafe, I feel like you can feel that. That is
definitely everywhere. Yeah.
Well, not
or when I visited Chicago a few weeks ago, for example, where I can and can't go as a tourist. I'm not trying to talk about why these things are different in Germany and the US and what could be done to change the situation, but fact is that in American cities, there's generally a lot more poverty as well as violence and crime than in German cities. For example, United Nations statistics show that the homicide rate for the year 2018 per 100,000 inhabitants was at 4.96 in the US, while it was at 0.95 in Germany. So in the US, it's almost 5 times as high as in Germany. Now, Cincinnati surely isn't Chicago or Detroit or New York City, but in some years, it has been listed among the top 20 most violent cities in the US, with the current homicide rate being at about 19 per 100,000 people, so more than 3 times the national average. Which doesn't mean that crime is something I personally see in everyday life here, but before I came to the US, I never had to take shelter because there was an active shooter around, for example. And this happened several times while I went to college here, that there was an active shooter alarm that went out to all students, and one time I was actually on campus during that time and locked myself up in a classroom together with a fellow student. And like
not leaving the whole gun law thing to a side.
Yeah, we're not getting into politics.
But like if you're moving there, so if we moved there, we'd be having the intentions, you'd be raising a family there, wouldn't you? Things like that. And then when you see all this stuff about, like having to do shooter drills and things like that, when your children going to school.
I mean, even just getting a text and having to hide yourself, even though you may not hear any bullets being shot, you may not see anything, but you may be perfectly fine.
That's probably worse, not hearing it, but knowing it's around. When do you come out?
Exactly. It must be in that moment being awful. So I can kind of see how that then would put you on the edge constantly, waiting for a text or something.
If you had that when you were at college or wherever you were, that would then put you on edge for wherever you...
Definitely. You get a text sometimes, hear a scream or something, checking your phone. It must be quite traumatising.
Him, I had never had any kind of training for a situation like that. Luckily, he did, because American students usually get prepared for these scenarios in school. I also have a lot of friends who have been attacked or robbed while walking on the streets at night here. And just a few weeks ago, I was out on a walk at like 10 p.m., which is like the only time it doesn't feel like a sauna outside in the summer. And I wasn't in a particularly dangerous area, but the next day, I found out that there was an armed robbery on the very street I was on at around the same time I was there too. I must have just missed it, but I found out the next day that the girl's phone and car keys were stolen, and then they took her car. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is that it's hard for me to get used to the fact that I can't just go outside at 10 p.m. without having concerns. Just to put this into perspective, I bought pepper spray just a few weeks after I first came to the US. I never had that before, and during my 3 weeks home in Munich just now, I went on several walks, even later at night, and I didn't even bring my pepper spray to
this
Germany.
is like a me problem.
I also took my bike through the woods.
I would just never go outside in the dark on my own.
Yeah, if we moved away from Jersey, you'd be...
But I don't think I'd even... I bet I would struggle to walk around Jersey in the dark on my own.
Yeah, and that's completely safe.
That is safe. So like me, I would... not believe in my house while I was in America.
It's at night, like I used to growing up. I used to always take the subway home late at night all by myself too, and never had to worry. So even after 5 years of living here, it's hard for me to get used to the idea that I'm limited in my freedom in a way. This one probably makes me sound like a broken record, because I've talked about this in several videos already, and even in my recent one about 10 things I had never done before coming to the US. But if this doesn't belong on a list of things that I can't get used to, I don't know what does. The American banking system. I'll keep it short this time, but I just can't get used to the fact that bank transfers aren't really a thing here, but instead you have to use a third-party service to transfer money from your bank account to another one, like when you're paying for rent or just paying a friend. In Germany, for paying utilities, or as I said, paying a friend or rent, or really any other kind of service, any kind of bills, we just send money from bank to bank.
Yeah, like a standing order.
Here, that's not very common and sometimes doesn't even really work. As I said, you'll usually have to go through another service like Zelle, for example, to do that. And I even had to get approval from my bank first before I could transfer any money. Americans, therefore, often just use services like Venmo or PayPal to make payments, which means that you have to connect your bank account to an additional service and cover potential fees. Many Americans also choose to do this because they think that bank transfers and giving out your account number isn't safe. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's a pretty common concern here.
Just give
On
our
top
account
of
number
that,
out.
people still use checks in the US, which seems pretty archaic from a German perspective. I have several friends who go to the ATM regularly to deposit a physical paycheck. Why do people have to waste their time with that in the 21st century? That hasn't been a thing in Germany my whole life.
I kind of like that.
The next point on my list is...
You feel like you're actually going and doing it, but...
the only money quick then, isn't it?
Yeah, the only people who've ever given me checks when he's like my granddad.
I think I got checks for my first job.
You may have. That would make sense.
Because I'm sure.
Yeah, because you weren't on a contract, was it? So a check would make sense. But I don't think I've ever written a check.
No. We've got a checkbook.
We've got a checkbook, but I don't think
I've
I've
got
ever
a joint checkbook, but we never used it.
Yeah, we've never used it.
Is how normal it is in the US
we ain't
not
got money
to
in the joint
believe
account. Give anyone.
I know this might be a little controversial for some people, and this
in
might be
facts?
more of a recent development in the US, but ever since I first came here, I've been very surprised how wherever you go, people sometimes say things like, I don't believe in climate change, or I don't believe in the gender
I think that's
pay
just
gap.
a worldwide thing, to be fair.
Yeah, I feel like there were so many people in the UK that said they didn't believe in COVID and things like that. I think that's just a person.
I think it's just a worldwide thing, and because there's more people in the US, it's emphasised more. You know what I mean? Because there's more people, there's obviously going to be more people like that, so then it's just emphasised more, you see more.
Yeah.
I think that's
there's definitely people all over the world that do that.
Definitely.
I don't believe in evolution. Or of course, most recently, I don't believe in COVID. You'll hear that even from very educated people sometimes, and what's so weird about that to me is that in the society I'm from, facts are not a matter of belief. Religion sure is, but hard scientific facts are not. You don't get the privilege to just not believe in a fact
there's
just
gotta be
because
someone
it's
in
uncomfortable.
Germany that
Science
thinks
isn't
they're
about
false.
believing,
Definitely.
it's about
There's
forming
no
our
way.
opinions and strategies based on a rational analysis of the information and evidence we have at the time. Science never claims to be 100% right. Of course, the current state of research on evolution can't explain every last thing yet. Of course, scientists change their statements about COVID over time. That's how it works. But it's still the most rational way of creating knowledge. You base it on all the evidence and facts that you have, and when new ones come out, you integrate those and adapt the state of research and potentially also your course of action based on that. Now,
Definitely
I'm not
worldwide.
saying
I
that
get it, but I
everyone
don't
has
think
to
it's
be on the same
subject to
page.
the US.
Yeah.
I think it would be unfair to say that they're the only people that think that.
Definitely. Agree with what you're saying, but it's worldwide.
But it's definitely not just a you problem, guys.
Definitely not.
Don't
Not
worry.
just me, but overall, I would say that this pretty much reflects the standard view in German society. And growing up there, I've never
Germany sounds
experienced
great.
it as a normal thing for people to just not believe in certain things. That's something that I still find hard to get used to in the US. The next point is expensive groceries and cosmetics.
Gosh, you
now,
want
this
to
is
come
a
to
pretty
Jersey.
specific Germany versus USA thing because groceries are exceptionally cheap in Germany compared to other European countries.
Oh,
but
wow.
the US really
didn't know
is
that.
extremely expensive in this sense. As a German, it's hard to wrap my head around the fact that as a low-income person in the US, it often makes more sense financially to get fast food and takeout
I've heard this
rather
before.
than buying groceries at the store. A normal
Really?
trip to the grocery store with like half a cart full of things for the next week or two easily costs me like $90 to $100 at a store like Kroger or Walmart, which is where the average American goes to get their groceries.
You'd have no fun in
Fortunately,
Jersey.
though, the German discounter
Well, I
supermarkets...
think some places in the US are more expensive than Jersey.
You think?
I think 100%.
Yeah, but not Aldi.
Yeah, probably not Aldi.
No
but
way.
There is some places in the US, but
I want to know what shop. I want to know what a 2-week shop like in Europe would cost.
It depends because obviously we've got friends in Norway and their prices
And I guess
are probably more than Jersey.
I guess it depends on what shop you go.
Depends
to.
what shop, depends on where you are in the world.
Because even in Jersey, there's different shops of different.
Definitely, like Switzerland, probably way more expensive than all these places. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
It depends on the. I think it depends on the country, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So maybe in Germany it is.
I mean, yeah, well, she said it was super cheap, so it makes sense, wouldn't it, to then be comparing it. But let us know in the comments. I have heard the thing that fruit is way more expensive than like fast food though in America.
I
I've heard
think
that.
maybe not fast food. Maybe it's not in the UK. Maybe it's not cheaper to get fast food takeaways than it is to buy a meal. But in terms of like in the shop, like fruit seems to be more expensive than like your crisps and your chocolate, isn't
it? Yeah, yeah, with that, definitely.
But I feel like maybe not the whole takeaway thing.
Yeah, not the takeaway thing in the UK.
Although I would love it to be.
Aldi and Lidl have locations in the US too, which is why I personally get most of my groceries at Aldi, where I pay about $60 for the same things. I only go to Kroger for certain items that they don't sell at Aldi, but every time I go to the store and see a small bag of almonds sold for $10 or a small box of strawberries for $5, I'm like, damn, I'll never get used to that. The same goes for cosmetics like face wash, makeup remover, or face lotion, for example. I've told you guys this before, but I actually still use products from the German drugstore DM for that, because even though I really tried to find good makeup remover and face lotion in the US, I failed. They were all like $7 per bottle, and none of them were as good as the products from DM for like €1. And I know that many other German expats, even in other countries, have the same experience here. Another one about houses is that even in modern houses, it's pretty common in the US to have 2 handles for hot and cold water at the sink, rather than having a mixer tap like you'll find it at most modern German homes. I don't quite understand why the mixer taps are...
Now, see, this is confusing because I always... Every time we've done these reactions...
I got one of them in the kitchen and I got one of them in my bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, I think old school UK houses, it's always the one on the right. Yeah. Really old school. More modern ones are going with one mixer tap. But so many reactions we've done have said how American ones have a mixer tap and then UK ones have the 2.
Yeah, and I've seen so many comments of them saying, what is that?
Yeah, why have you got 2, not just a mixer?
Yeah, because all the other ones we've done, they've... So what's she been...
Maybe it's the places she's been staying in. But I think most of the time it is the opposite way around. You guys have the mixer, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the UK, Europe have
different.
Well, maybe not Europe, but UK.
Yeah, let us know in the comments on that one again. There's a few controversial ones on this, isn't there? Different ones.
Yeah, but I think as well, she's speaking from Germany, not
and her own experience in the US.
She might have just been in one state the whole 5 years. So
no, definitely. Yeah.
Differentiates, isn't it?
Yeah, let us know for the rest of the states and your experience.
Do you reckon... I think it's definitely yes, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay.
Do you reckon different states are... Some states are cheaper than other states?
Oh, 100%.
In terms of shopping and things
like that. 100%. Yeah, definitely.
So Cincinnati maybe...
It might be more expensive. It might be cheaper.
Than like your little Alabama or something.
Yeah.
Aren't more common here because they're just so much more practical. I noticed this one especially whenever I come back from a trip to Germany, but I'm always kind of aware of it in the back of my mind. There is a huge amount of trash and plastic in this country. People here get takeout all the time, and every meal leaves a huge pile of packaging waste behind. Many people use disposable dishes, even at home, because they don't want to clean their actual dishes. And people don't bring their own shopping bags to the store, but instead get piles of plastic bags every time they get groceries, at least here in the Midwest. Coming from Germany, where way more people try to at least avoid waste when it's not necessary, and where you have to pay for plastic bags at the store, and where plastic straws and other single-use plastic products have been banned now, it's just hard to get used to that sometimes, especially knowing that most of this trash is totally avoidable.
Yeah, we have paper bags
last
now.
but not least,
German side,
even after...
As in for the UK, I'd agree that we have to... we've
got to pay for bags.
But then I would kind of argue that the opposite, for the American side, that seems a bit harsh to label the whole of the Midwest as people that eat out all the time and don't...
Definitely. Again, I feel like...
But I feel like there's different people in different... So there may be, in America, there may be some people that don't care about recycling and things like that.
But there'll be a lot who do.
It's just a vast...
There's just more people there, so you see more of not recycling.
We try hard with our recycling and things like that. But I always forget I carry a bag and have to buy one.
Yeah, that's actually 70p a bag. It's so expensive.
It's life, isn't it? Sometimes you just gotta do it.
Definitely.
After 5 years, I still find it weird how big of a deal alcohol is here. I mean, I'm from a country where alcohol is part of our culture, where you can legally drink beer and wine at 16 and hard liquor at 18, while here in the US, not only can people not drink legally until they're 21, but there's also such things as dry counties, for example, where you can't buy alcohol anywhere, or so-called moist counties, where you can get alcohol only at certain places or for certain occasions. And it's also still weird to me how stores need a liquor license to sell alcohol, and you often have to go to a separate liquor store to get it, even just beer sometimes. Wow. And it's also still weird to me, and a little sad that drinking in public is illegal. That means no beer by the river after you get off work, no drink while walking to a party, no playing beer pong at the park, and there's not a lot of curbside dining because of that either, because restaurants have to have a designated area if they want to do that. And even after 5 years, I still sometimes forget about this and accidentally have a drink in my hand outside, or I walk into a store looking for the alcohol section and then realize, oh, they don't sell that here. And that was the last point on my list of 13.
I don't really agree with walking. I feel like it's a bit meh, walking down the street with a beer, drinking. But I do like to have a drink at the beach and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think many people walk around.
No,
I don't think many people would play beer pong in the park.
I don't mind. But if you're sitting at the park, that would be okay.
But I don't think people typically do. But then maybe people would go for a picnic in the park.
You're thinking, I mean, you might play beer pong there potentially,
beer
and have a drink, definitely.
I don't know what the rules are in Jersey. I think it's okay to do it.
I think you can't. Yeah, in parks. I broke it if you can't.
I think you can't do it. I think the one rule is, because I remember this, because when I was a bit younger, there was someone getting arrested for doing it.
Oh wow!
Is you're not allowed to drink alcohol in a children's.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
In a children's
playground.
I think you wouldn't, but someone did. So
yeah, I know what you mean. Smash that when you enjoy it, guys. Smash the subscribe button. This has been super long.
It has.
It's
been different compared to the other ones.
13 different answers pretty much as well, hasn't it, which has been awesome.
Yeah.
Some controversial, some we don't agree with, but that's the part of these reactions. Somebody says their experience because it is their experience. We give our experience. You guys give your experiences, and hopefully someone can get an answer.
I'm confused about the tap situation.
Yeah, me too.
I'd like to know more about the tap.
Let us know in the comments below. Smash that subscribe button, and if you made it this far into the video, you are an absolute legend. What's your video?
Have a fantastic day.
And we will see you legends in the next one. Peace.